The Knicks did trade for Bogdanovic and Burks. Alec Burks and Bojan Bogdanovic going to New York for a bunch of guys, led by Quentin Grimes. That's the key piece here for Detroit. And then Malachi Flynn and Fournier. And we got Ryan Arcidiacono and 2 future second-round picks. So a lot of moving parts here. I know the Pistons have been busy like waving guys left and right here today too. Joe Harris, Killian Hayes. Who else am I forgetting? There's someone else they let go.
Danwell House.
That's right. Yep. Yes. They just acquired him. And he's gone. But you said it already. You liked this move from New York because you're a big fan of Bogdanovic. You think this is like the best player at least move so far?
Yeah, maybe I'm being subjective here because I love what the Knicks are and how hard they work. And the Mavericks haven't really established themselves as that. The Knicks just polished their edges a little bit better here with Bojan Bogdanovic, who can be a scorer late in games. A few weeks ago, he had a performance for the Pistons where he was given the ball at the end of the fourth quarter over and over and over, and he had 33.9. Yeah, it was against the Hornets, but that doesn't matter. He was given the ball over and over and over, and they went offense for defense with him. They brought Asar Thompson into the game while he took over on the floor at the other end. Perfect Knicks recipe. The Knicks have a lot of defensive guys. Bojan, who's had 40-point games in his career, can come off the bench and be that guy late in games. And also, Alec Burks helps out because Jalen Brunson at times has to do so much for this team. I think he just helps be a backup guard. They just need guys to eat minutes as Tibbs gives a lot of minutes to Jalen Brunson, and Deuce Bride is their backup point guard. I think Alec Burks just gives a little bit of rest for Jalen Brunson, which is a guy who's going to play so much, but he plays through everything because he's tough as nails. So, yeah, I think the Knicks just got smarter on the edges a little bit. Both guys are going to be coming off the bench, but both capable players.
Do you like it as much as Tess?
Oh, absolutely. My main concern is Tibbs playing Alec Burks too much. Like that'll be the problem if he starts playing him a lot over McBride, which it probably will be an offense-defense sort of thing, but when it comes down to it, he should be on the bench at the end of these games, whereas Bogdanovic, maybe he's in the closing lineups, and he definitely will be while Julius Randle is out. We just saw that game against the Lakers when they double-teamed Jalen Brunson the entire second half, and the Knicks could get nothing going offensively because Randle was out, and OG Anunoby continues to be out, and we don't really know when he's coming back. It seems like his injury is getting worse the more he sits on the bench right now for the Knicks. So with Grimes out of the rotation and they don't want to pay him, I think this is great to be able to get a couple of guys who are absolutely going to be in the rotation for the Knicks. They both bomb threes, which is kind of one of the Knicks' secret sauces. They shoot a lot of threes if you're not Brunson or Randle or one of the big guys who catches dunks. Yeah. So this is great stuff for them. They've added like 4 rotation players during the transaction periods here, and they still have all of their first-round picks.
Right.
Leon's cooking.
That's a good point. I think the Knicks are going to be, when you get to tomorrow's podcasts and columns and articles and all that, winners and losers of the trade deadline. When you consider the OG move and the prior moves, TK, like you said, I think the Knicks will be on a lot of people's winners list for some of these moves where they didn't have to give up any first-round picks.
Yeah, and they get a guy in Bogdanovic who, I said a few weeks ago, he was their guy to go to at the end of the games. Recently, has had games of 6 threes, 4 threes, another one with 4 threes. The guy can score in this league. He's lost a tiny bit of step on the defensive end. He ain't that same guy who was guarding LeBron James in 2018, that 7-game series, Pacers and the Cavs way back when. He was the guy. He was a really good playoff performer. The Pistons held on to him and held on to him and held on to him finally until this day when a lot of his money is unguaranteed next year. They've finally given up a little bit. They've given up on Killian Hayes, who started a lot this season. The Pistons are going through one here where they're finally changing their
entire
route.
roster, basically,
yeah, a little bit.
Except their young stars.
Yeah, they get Quentin Grimes in this one, who's a 3-and-D guy who should help out a little bit. But, I'm glad Jaden Ivey's playing on that team because Killian Hayes was playing a lot.
Not bad for Bogdanovic and Burks to be on a 7-win team, get traded today to a team near the top of the Eastern Conference to go play in Madison Square Garden. People are obviously very excited about this team, and rightfully so, and they could play a part. Like they're gonna get an opportunity, especially with the injuries. That's the other part. Maybe they're like, Knicks are looking at this like, okay, yeah, they might help in a playoff series, but We want to have home court advantage. We want to keep pace with the Cavs and the Bucks if we can. We have the main guys that are banged up or injured, especially with Randall and OG, and Bogdanovic could at least slot into those positions and help.
Yeah, the OG injury, a little scary that he's missed his 6th straight game with elbow problems. He missed games with the Raptors as well. Like 15 last year. Well, that was a good year because it was 34 the year before that, 29 the year before that. So he does miss a lot of time, but hopefully those elbow spurs as we're getting heard.
Wouldn't want to have spurs in my elbows, only on my heels. From the Pistons side of thing, I do like them getting Grimes. I think he's like a solid player for them to pick up. He gives you something on the defensive end, which they're absolutely going to need. He can shoot it from outside, and he doesn't require the ball all that often, so Cade can cook a little bit. Yeah. Ivy can cook as well. But, I mean, they're basically getting back 2 future second-round picks here for Bogdanovic when theoretically they could have gotten 2 first-round picks last year.
Right.
Which would you rather have, Quentin Grimes in 2 seconds or 2 first-round picks? I would prefer the picks myself, but that's just not how Troy Weaver does it.
Yeah.
He doesn't like these picks.
Yeah.
I know they're rebuilding, but if you can get a veteran, Troy Weaver will take your veteran.
Yeah, and he didn't get a first-round pick like the Charlotte Hornets did, for instance. It would have been nice to get a first-round pick instead of these second-round picks. And I don't want to compare the Pistons to the Knicks, but as you just said about Quentin Grimes pulling out the floor a little bit, even Fontecchio coming in to space out two-point land for those guys, for Cade Cunningham and Jaden Ivey mainly. That's what the Knicks do, too, with OG Anunoby, and here with guys like Bojan Bogdanovic. They need space for Randall and obviously Jalen Brunson. It helps. And so maybe the Pistons are going a different route. Who knows? But the Knicks are definitely going a different route. They're looking good.